finally time for me to tell you about the scooter from Wakethief in Indiana, because we've seen it all over the internet and now it is time for me to review it. And I've been using it for 2 weeks now. I've used it with a lot of kids, a lot of adults as well, newbies. And in this video, I'm gonna break down what is in that package if you buy it, and then also what you need to be aware of when learning how to foil on a scooter. Let's go.
Welcome to Matt on Foil.
I'm not gonna do it here because there's dog shit. I'm gonna put it together over there. So with all the gear that you get at Indiana, you get a backpack, which is super cool because you can take that scooter into the train. Here, of course, we have the handle. Then we have in the back, we have the mast. It's an aluminum mast. They try to save on cost as much as possible. We have the board, the Wakethief board, which I think looks super cool. There's the front wing, which is pretty big, but even kids can pump it because with the handle you have so much more force. There's an aluminum fuselage as well, well covered, and we have the stabilizer. And of course you get all the tools necessary. Inside the backpack you have a little pouch, and these are the tools and screws that you need. So let's do a little montage to put everything together a little faster. All right, first of all, I'm gonna put the mast in. I'm just gonna put it in the middle, so that's fine. With kids, I usually put it a little more forward or take the handle a little bit backwards. I always put the screws back in here, not because I don't want to lose them, of course I don't want to lose them, but I put them back in because the adapter here, that comes loose. That is not like fixed into the mast and you don't want to lose that. So I always put my screws back in here. But let's put on the fuselage, which is also, you know, covered here with a neoprene because you don't want to ding your board, your foil. So let's put that in here. And this connection, you really want it to be super tight. So be aware to really screw that in very tightly. Okay, for the front wing, you have 3 different screws. And the great thing with Indiana is that they put a scale which screw you need for what. You have 1 longer and 2 shorter screws. And you can just hold them here on the front wing to see which one's which. The middle one is the longer one, and the 2 shorter ones are in the front and the back. So once you have these screws in, you can tighten them. And I would recommend after maybe 10-15 minutes to just double check if something got loose a little bit. I was once out on a session and then in the afternoon it started to wobble a lot, and then we just realized we needed to tighten the screws again. So that's what I would do. Also, up until now, these 4 screws on the mast, the 2 screws here and the 3 screws here have been T45 screws M8. So that was with the same screwdriver. And for the stab, we're gonna check it later. What you get when you get the scooter, you don't get these individual T-nuts, but you have this bone in between. So it is even easier to put on. I don't have that one because it's an early type. So yeah, that's just what it is. And then you slide it up front. I'm gonna go all the way to the front. You can also take it back just a little bit if, you know, kids are smaller. And then it's the same T45 to tighten these screws. Now here you see 4 holes. And for one, you need another tool. You need the T30 tool, which honestly is a bit annoying. But, you know, the stab has just smaller holes and I don't know if that would fit back there. But I would really love 1 screwdriver or 1 tool for everything. Anyway, you have 4 holes here, and the good thing about Indiana is that you can, with 1 setup, have 3 different kind of setups, because you can put it back here for more pitch stability, in the middle, or to the front for the most pitch agility possible. And if you start foiling, I recommend always going to the back because you want maximum glide. Just start feeling it. You're more secure if you put it back here. Now here we have people who are a little more experienced, so I'm just gonna put it in the middle. If you have another back wing from Indiana, for example, you can also take that. And while the foils are nicely visible here, this one has a span of 1,320 millimeters. So it's a pretty big foil. Also, the area is almost 2,000 square centimeters. So it is, I would say, a beginner foil, a good beginner foil. It's still pretty fast for its size, I would say. And the backwing has a span of
37 or almost 38 centimeters.
and an area of almost 200 square centimeters. You have 3 screws here, T30 screws, and you can actually change the height of the pole of maybe 10-15 centimeters. So that's the whole setup. Now, what you immediately feel if you lift it up, it is pretty heavy. On the website, it says it's a little over 10 kilos. Let's double check. 9.9. It is heavy for a reason. And the idea is that you get a scooter, not just for kids to use, but for your 90 kilogram person to use as well and not break. Because on the handle, if you have your setup here and you pull on that handle, you don't want anything to break. And I think this is really bulletproof. It is heavy when you walk over the dock, but once you have it in the water, it is super well balanced and the whole weight is a non-issue anymore. So let's take it on the water. If you are the person who starts with a scooter and wants to go regular pump foiling, you just take off the handle and you can go as well with the same setup. And the pumping is really nice. If you're a first-time pumper and you got yourself such a setup, then it is important 2 things. 1, never let go of the handle. If you fall, always take your handle, because if you fall and you hold to your handle like this, you fall to this side, then the foil, which is kind of sharp, comes up on the other side. So you never hit your foil. So never let go of the handle. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is, and I told that to everyone, speed is your friend. So when you're at the dock, try to accelerate. Before you start at the end of the dock, go as fast as possible, because that speed is going to give you time on foil before you start coming down. So you can adjust your stance, you can feel where you need to stand, and then you can start pumping. What most people didn't do well when they pumped was that they leaned too much to the back. You want your foil to rise, and you want it to rise not by pulling on the handle, but by hopping or jumping up. And then once you jump, you hop, and you take away weight from the foil, the whole system's gonna rise. And then when you start landing on it again, you move forward, and then it starts gliding down. That's where it accelerates, and speed's your friend. Speed gives you lift. So hopping and pushing the handle a little bit forward or hopping towards the front, that's the important part. The most difficult thing for everyone is to find the sweet spot to hop again, because you still want to be on your way down when you hop, so you can accelerate before you come back up. If you're rising and you hop, you're just gonna stall the foil and fall. But you know, that's part of the learning. Now, if you know how to pump on a scooter, how easy is it to change from a scooter to regular dock starting? Well, it's not as easy, but you have way more success. Let's say you do a little round at the dock with a scooter first. You unscrew 4 screws, take off the handle, and go for a couple of tries regular dock starting, which we all know takes way longer to learn. And then to finish up your session, you put the handle back on and just go out again for a good finish of your session. I think that's the way to go. Also, you don't have to learn to start and pump at the same time. With the scooter, you can get up on speed, like with the regular scooter ride, and then you can switch your stance, maybe take just one hand on the handle or both hands off the handle, try to pump, and then once you feel like, oh, I lose speed, you go back in the scooter position, you accelerate, and then move back. And I think that's the way to go. Now, how easy it really is. My son, he knows how to pump with the scooter. He pumped over 3 minutes. He learned that in 3 sessions, and he wants to learn pump foiling now. And if you're curious about how does a kid, a small kid, he's 11, learn how to dock start, make sure to subscribe, because he wants to be on the channel as well. He wants to show his progress from the scooter to pump foiling. So make sure to subscribe to not miss that. This setup is really great. And the price, is pretty competitive, I would say. There are cheaper options, but this thing is really bulletproof, so I highly recommend this one. There are a few little things where I think that they could have gone differently though. Now, the first thing is the pads. It is non-slippery. It's not too non-slippery. It's really good, that crocodile skin that they have on here. And the actual drawing helps because I could tell the people who tested it where they should put their feet. And I usually told them put it on the nose. But you can see maybe here, there's a little bubble. So, you know, there might have been some air underneath, and then when the sun hits, and here we're up on 1,800 meters above sea level, yeah, the bubbles formed here. So I need to cut in a little bit and let the air out, which is just a minor thing, but still that is something that maybe on a future version they could improve on. And number two is here where you have the screws for the handlebar. The sharp part of the screws stick out. So a cover here, or maybe shorter screws, something like that, would be really helpful, especially if you swim back and you maybe have your head in front here so you don't scratch yourself. So this is something I think Indiana could improve on. Everything else, phenomenal. So that's been it with the scooter. I really like it. I highly recommend it for newbies, for kids. It is safer. The success rate is so much better with a scooter that I can really say this is the way to start foiling. And yeah, get yourself one of these scooters. They're epic.